Welcome to Unity today. Happy Mother's Day. And we have 3 generations here, my mom and my oldest daughter. We're going to be doing the music today. We thought that would be fun to just be together on this special day where we celebrate being mothers and being daughters of mothers and all that good stuff. So we're going to start by singing and just calling our spirits into our rooms wherever we are. We're all connected, interconnected through spirit. And we're going to give this hour to us to revel and enjoy and remember God's grace and guidance. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you. Join us. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. And so it is.
All right. Well, it's Mother's Day.
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
So happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. We appreciate you tuning in with us. And you can keep your cell phones on. You don't have to turn those off because you're not here in the sanctuary. So you can let those ring away, but you might want to actually silence it so you can be more focused on the service and what's happening here. And then anything else you want to add to that?
No, if you want to text your friends and relatives or call them, let them know you're tuning in to Unity of Boulder's, 11 o'clock service, because it's going to be beautiful, moving, inspiring. So you might want to do that. And I want to say to all of you, if you haven't called your mom yet today, and she's still on the planet, you might want to call her and just let her know that you have all this love and gratitude for her and all that she did to bring you up in your life.
Even if she's not on the planet, you could sit in some time of prayer and meditation just to commune with the essence of your mother, which is also a powerful practice to do as well. So, did you know last night I spoke about relationships, spiritual relationships, and how we have relationships in our lives? Did you catch that talk?
Yeah, I did. And I know about it because we had 118 phone calls the following day. People filing for divorce.
All I want to do is make an impact, so apparently I've done that. So.
Okay, I think you just copped out. You didn't take time to write a sermon. You just did those questions.
I admitted
it was
that.
Disgusting.
I did not have time.
No.
It was a cop-out.
You didn't have
phoned
the time?
I phoned it in.
All the years I've been doing this, I never copped out on a sermon. Never. Ask anybody.
Well,
that was sad. That's really sad.
You've done some really poor sermons we probably wish you would have copped out on, but other than that, you did do that, so we're very proud of you. Congratulations. So we probably have our Zoom information up here. We do have several things happening during the week, and we want to especially remind you that after Syntysche's talk today around noon and noon 05, we will be doing a Sunday fellowship. So all of you that are watching us, you can join us in fellowship. We really invite you to bring your questions and comments that you heard about the talk so that we can have an engaging conversation about the topic Syntysche presents today. If you don't have the login information for that, you can just email us at info@unityofboulder.com, and we'll get you to that, get that information to you as soon as possible. And then, of course, you can see here we have all the other stuff happening this week for you to engage with us on Zoom, and we invite you to join us. All right, thank you.
Norma wrote this song for her mother many, many years ago. And she and I have been singing this together for many, many years, and now Arenya is joining us today to sing it with us.
O sacred mother, through you I enter this earth to guide me through life's lessons I must learn. Thank you for the love you've shown to me, always there in my time of need. Oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, you showed me life divine to keep God's presence always on my mind. Thank you for the love you've shown to me, always there in my time of need. Oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, your belief in me gave me the strength to do what I believe. Thank you for the love you've shown to me, always there in my time of need. Oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother, oh, sacred mother. Thank you, Mom.
You want to get that? I got to get this. Good morning, everyone. So happy to have you here with us today on Mother's Day. We're wishing you a happy Mother's Day to all the moms, the grandmoms, the foster moms, the stepmoms, surrogate moms, mother figures, moms-to-be, and to all the men out there that are doing the mother and father jobs too. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and I will be speaking to motherhood through my own lens of being a mother for many years at this point. If my daughter's that mature, obviously I've been doing this for a long time, and honoring my own mother. Mother's Day can be a really beautiful day to sit in reverence of all that our mothers gave us in our early childhood and in our adult life. We're moms from the second our kids enter this world until we aren't here anymore. And so it can be a tough day as well, because if we've lost a mom or we've lost a child, it surfaces that feeling. And today I was sitting in my office and thinking about my son, who is no longer with us, and literally a bird with blue wings came flying and was actually tapping the window of my office right when I was thinking about it. And I thought, hi, Luca, like Happy Mother's Day is what I heard. And the color had meaning because I always referred to the color like that purpley blue, like a periwinkle. I called it Luca blue. Like whenever I see animals or birds, that I feel like he's giving me a message. And so I hope that gives a little bit of strength for those of you that have lost your moms or lost your children, that they still want to interact with us and still say Happy Mother's Day. So I wanted to share a few funny little stories about my mom, and I don't want her to get her feelings hurt, but I just had such a fun time writing a couple of the quirky things about my mother, because she is like no other mother. She is a woman that is a lone ranger in the way that she raised us, and in the most incredible way, but very funny ways too. So when my mom would tell me or my brothers and I our conception stories, she made it clear she and my father never wanted to have children together. So she hid her pregnancies from my dad and would ask God to tell him in a dream that she was pregnant because she was too worried to tell him. And then when my dad would have the dream, he would come to her and tell her, "Norma, you're pregnant." And she'd go, "Oh, really?" Like he was the big insight person, so that way he couldn't get upset because he had this big revelation with God in his dream because she couldn't tell him the truth. I was told as a child that they loved Dell, my older brother, so much that they were afraid they would smother him. So they conceived me to distract them from all that overbearing love. I'm not making this up, folks, and somehow I didn't get a complex from these stories. It cracks me up to think how these stories could have scathed me, but it is this factor that makes me love them both all the more. They are a couple of loons from New York, you know. They are from really like impoverished backgrounds where they found their entire life in a big way while they had their children. So there was not a lot of finances, which is probably part of why they didn't want to have children, at least at that time. Unfortunately, we all came before finances really started to fly, but I think, you know, my mom always says, don't worry about your finances. Every child brings abundance to your life. That's another message she would always say. They always come with their own money for your life. My mom always told me that she never planned on being a mom ever as a child. She talked about how she dressed up her dogs and rescued every stray animal that there was, that was her mother connection, was to all the creatures. And we witnessed that. She loves animals more than life itself, and we had a full house of dogs. I think we had a rabbit, we had a hamster, we had some gerbils at some point. We always had animals, and she always taught us to really have love and empathy and compassion for the animal kingdom, and that they have feelings and that they can talk to us in their own ways. And there's such a wonderful, deep relationship that we all have to our animals, and every one of us have raised our kids with dogs. But she also would go on to talk to us about reincarnation and how her father had met her when he was passing away and took her to where he was going when he was going to the other side, or as we call it, it's the unseen realms that are also we interconnect in, and that's why I was bringing up the bird today. To remember that even if they're not in physical sight, our parents, they are always with us in spirit, and they're always guiding and directing us with spirit. And so she always would point out how there was always something much more going on in this life, that the spiritual life was first, that it was the food. My father also taught us that. And they would analyze dreams with us when we would wake up, or in the evenings we'd talk about the dreams we had the night before, and they would contemplate from their studies in the Edgar Cayce work about what the dreams meant. I don't have a clicker up here, so I'm going to need a slide. No, that's not it. You guys are way at the bottom. In John 15:16, it says, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you." One of the most commonly asked questions regarding reincarnation is about whether we choose our parents, and if so, why? The answer, which is of course yes, happens to shed light on the concept of karma. We do choose our parents, and yet it isn't merely the parents that we select, but the lifestyle, personalities, and experience a particular family offers. This is a selection over which our angels hold particular influence. There may be many sets of parents who are attractive to the incoming entity, and it is only with the angels' help that the right ones are chosen, even though we may be completely unhappy with our parents. And at one time or another, most of us have felt this way. Ours are the correct parents for our soul's karmic needs. So it's not necessarily that you're handed easy parents to grow your spirit, but they were exactly the parents that you needed to grow your particular soul this lifetime. It goes on to talk about that maybe in your last lifetime, you were not appreciative of your parents, and you even maybe stopped talking to them, and you went to your grave not saying that you loved them and all that. And then this lifetime you may get parents that have kind of resisted you and not shown you the kind of love that you feel you deserved, and yet something was carried over in your karmic life to have you grow a deep sense of appreciation for parents or for people, and for compassion, for empathy. I always like this because when we used to have a Chinese restaurant in Boulder that our whole family went to every Sunday after church. And now it's the Kathmandu, the Indian restaurant, which we go to. We must have some karmic thing with that particular building. But when we had the Chinese food there was, the Chinese zodiac that tells you, the different years, which animal you are and what you represent. And to see who you get along with and things like that. Well, on the menu, it said that my mom was a goat and that I was an ox, if you put the years of that we were born on it. And it would say, goat, stay away from ox. And it said, ox, stay away from goat. And it's on both sides of the menu, so it's the exact opposite. Thank you. And this is what the meaning of the goat and the ox is. The goat and the ox may have to work to make their relationship flow smoothly, since as opposite signs in the Chinese zodiac, their relationship may be marked by friction. The problem results from these two signs' opposing sensibilities. The dreamy, eccentric goat is bound to find the conservative, sensible ox to be a restrictive influence. My mom, the goat, the dreamy one, me being the conservative one, apparently the ox. While the strong and practical ox is likely to find the sensitive and high-strung goat to be over-emotional, even irrational. None of these qualities is inherently negative, but these particular signs may well find themselves straining against the confines imposed by the other's personality. Well, now, why would I, or why would the angels decide to put two personalities together that would be in somewhat conflict, right? And my mom and I were not in conflict in my early childhood, but once I became a teenager, she just drove me crazy. There was just something about how she did everything. She's extremely spontaneous, very unplanned, was up and go, and everybody had to just follow her. She didn't over-communicate. In fact, she expected us to read her mind and be ready to go to do something before she even told us we were going anywhere. Then these things with my conservative self was and I know Shad didn't flow with it too well either. Dell, our brother, he's very built like her, so that worked for him. But this pushback it didn't mean that she was right or she was wrong. This particular personality trait has grown me more than anything else in my entire life. We have found a way to accept each other's differences at this point, but we went through all my adult years having our moments where it would be blowouts. We would struggle. And the angels are able to access the Akashic records for us before we go here, and to note an entity's past deeds, intent, and experiences. When it's the soul's turn to come into a physical body, a great deal of effort and coordination is involved. Should the entity be born to a single mother? Should it be adopted? Should there be two devoted, loving parents? The possibilities are carefully explained to the entity, which is us, that picked our parents. A lifetime of easy karma, comfort, and affluence may offer little opportunity for growth or challenge. A lifetime of difficult karma, however, may be just what the soul needs to balance previous experiences and proceed at an accelerated pace. So, I love my mom probably more than anybody else on this entire planet, besides my kids. And it's because she, they say those things that rub up against you, they grow you. She has built a patience in me that I didn't know was possible. And her get up and go ways that drove me crazy made me more fluid and able to move with life's distractions and the things that were difficult more easily because she taught me something that was out of my natural realm. I'm able to just pick up and go and have to face the experience of life, which is always changing, ever changing, and you can't ever get stuck or you're in quicksand. I learned how to flow and move and grow through that. But all of us mothers have been put to the test at this time, with homeschooling our children to filling the void of our children's friends right now during this pandemic. We are fulfilling and filling the void for the activities that they do not have, their sports, their dance, their singing, their outdoor play, the parks being open. I mean, it goes on, and we're here as mothers going, how do I distract them so they don't feel the emptiness of not having their social outlet? So, ladies, I know we are running right now, and I want to say that you are all kicking butt. You are all a bunch of saints, because I'm in this, and I've got teenage kids. You people with children under 7 years old, I am praying for you, and I see you staying happy and joyful through this spell. So why don't you take a chance right now and kiss yourself? I'm so good. I did such a good job. I am such a good mommy, right? We have to appreciate ourselves because nobody ever asks us, what do you think about a pandemic just showing up and seeing that all your kids are going to be in your space and you're going to have to get all those groceries and you're going to have to do all that cooking. There's nowhere you can order food, that everything is going to be on you, and you need to have a smile on your face. Nobody told us, and nobody prepared us. What would have told ourselves 3 months ago if we knew this was coming? What would you have warned yourself to be able to prepare better for this experience? And I also want to acknowledge all the people at the front lines of this pandemic right now. The nurses, the doctors, the police, the firefighters, all the people that are helping through this time where they're putting their lives at stake through this epidemic. But did you know that 80% of nurses are women? And how many of them must be mothers that are actually juggling between this, going to hospitals with this COVID-19, and then having to come back to their children, or have been taken away from their children because they're sacrificing their lives to not even bring it back to their children. So I want to commend you too for being brave and standing up for us people in America. We thank you and we appreciate you very, very much. I commend all of us for showing up to the task. But then again, what choice did we have? No one could have prepared us for this task called motherhood, even before the pandemic. But then, when you have situations like this, you realize that there's no room. We've been through the situation where we've had a flu, and the kids are running around, and you still have to be a mom. You've been in the situations where you have 2 kids under 2 years old, and one's been up from 10 till 1 in the morning, and then that one finally goes to bed. You lay down, and the other one cries, and now you're up for the rest of the night, and you just think to yourself, what was I thinking? I am so tired. And yet, eventually, they start to grow, and they became 12 and 14, like for me, or my daughter that's 23, and I think, God, what I would do to go back to that little face and hold those little cherubs and not rush through it. Rush just out of survival. I think most parents are. We're just working too hard. And now we're in this pandemic, and some of us that didn't have essential work got a chance to be home and be with the family and hopefully really enjoyed those dinners and things like that. But to just bask that everything has an opportunity in it, and this pandemic for sure does. I have been making every dinner and sitting with my kids every night. And that has been an incredible experience. When a mother gets up in the morning, she's anointed by the unseen realms. She leans upon her own understanding and is an open channel of the divine within her to guide and direct her to whatever is being called for her children each day. The sacrifice of a mother. After 2 weeks into this pandemic, I could feel my young daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, growing in anxiety. I was running out of tricks to distract her from her loneliness. She has a best friend that lives down the street from us, about 3 houses down, but kind of far because it's like a dirt road where we live. And I witnessed that day that little Neva was driving down with her mom, and the window was open, and her big round eyes were staring at her house, and the 2 girls were just staring at each other. And they wanted to play so badly, and I have to say to your kids, I'm sorry, you can't play today. And the next day, you can't play today. But I knew that day was the breaking day. And I was having a pent-up anxiety because us moms walk around with the souls of our children on our heart. We can feel when our kids are starting to fall apart. And I was starting to grow in fear of how am I going to pull her off this mountain. She ended up in my bedroom, and I asked her how she was doing. And she fell to my bed, and she broke down and cried and cried and cried. I'm so lonely. When is this going to end? On, and I'm in anxiety of how to calm her off this mountain because Katya holds in her feelings till it's way too late, and then it's really, really hard to get her out of panic. And all I wanted to do was climb into that bed and just start crying with her because it's all I felt too. It's like, God, when is this going to end? When is this going to be over? All of it. But I couldn't because as a mother, in essence, we are God to them. We are the words of wisdom in the moments of fear. And I just held her and rocked her as if she was 2 years old and stroked her hair because I couldn't make any fake promises to her of when this would end. I'm using Khalil Gibran again this week, one of my favorite authors. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. For life goes not back. Oh, wait, I put that in twice. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Us mothers play a critical role in the spiritual foundation of their children as well as their fathers. You are the key faith influencer in the lives of your children. I wouldn't trade being a mommy for anything. There is no greater name that I was given than mom. There is one thing we understand is that we take responsibility for the spiritual investment in our children. As a church, we want to come alongside and give you resources for your children during this time. This can mean many things, but it means being equipped as parents to be their spiritual guidance, to be their solitude in spirit, and to remind them there's always something there to protect, guide, and love them, so that when they do go out on their own, they have an inner strength that when they're having a bad day, that day will pass, because Spirit is with them always. So we have just put together with Michelle Pula, who's the head of our Sunday school, at 10:15 each Sunday is a parent support group during the pandemic from 10:15 to 10:45, and if you guys want to go longer, then you guys will change that time. But you can find out the Zoom address to meet with that, and it's just Michelle sharing some spiritual tools that you can use every single day to implement a very deep understanding of what God and Spirit means in a child's life and how to apply it in their daily life. And this is a great time to start really encouraging that relationship. So I want to encourage and challenge our parents, future parents and grandparents to live their faith and embrace their role in your families. So there's this article called A Mother's Selflessness by Tom Clark, and I'm going to be using some excerpts from it. One of the greatest traits of good mothers is their selflessness. This is even demonstrated in the animal kingdom. What can we learn from the examples of our mothers? Anyone who has spent time around wild animals knows that a mother with young can be very dangerous. Growing up on the farm is what this guy writes about, taught me that an otherwise docile cow can instinctively turn into 900 pounds of rage to protect her calf from danger. Every experienced wilderness hiker knows you never, ever get between a mother bear and her cubs. Likewise, a game warden in Wyoming once told me that the animal he fears most is a female moose, especially if she has a calf nearby. A few years ago, there was a wildfire raged through a rural area with several farmsteads. Firefighters were called in to help bring the blaze under control and salvage what they could of the houses and farms outside. After the fire was extinguished, several firefighters spread out to walk back through, identifying any areas that might need more attention. In the process, one firefighter came across an unusual-looking lump near the ashen remains of what must have been a small chicken coop. As he got closer, he noticed it was the charred body of an adult hen. Since most of the chickens in this area were free range, they were left with wings unclipped, meaning they were able to fly. Why didn't this one flee as the fire approached? When he poked her with the toe of his boot, 4 tiny chicks scurried out from underneath. At that point, it became clear why this mother had the ability to save herself. Her chicks did not. Instead of flying away, she hunkered down to shield them with her own body, instinctively protecting as many of her brood as would stay under her wings. That's so what it feels like to be a mother, and it's not usually that you have to put your whole brood under your wings at the same time. It's usually one or the other. It seems like you get one really joyful and happy on their path and they're doing well, and then the next one really needs your focus, attention. Thank God, usually not all 3 at the same time, but sometimes that is the case, or if you have 4 or 5 or 1 child. But the story also illustrates a trait of character that comes naturally to most human mothers as well, stepping in without hesitation to selflessly serve and sacrifice for their children and family. No matter what it takes, a mother will often willingly give all she has to provide for her children the best she can. It is right and proper that we recognize and honor the sacrifice of mother. No matter what it takes, a mother will often willingly give all she has to provide for her children the best she can. This trait of selfless love is one God, the mother, and Jesus both demonstrates towards us. This, of course, is not a trait that only mothers should have. God desires all of us to love one another and all of our children, and said it this way in the Bible. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. One of the most precious commodities we have is time. We can watch a mother lay down her life by taking her time to love, nurture, and care for her children and her family. She does so by teaching a little one how to do a task, even when that process will slow her down and will take twice as long than doing the task herself. She does this when she patiently kisses away the tears that come simply from the process of growing and learning. Or she passes up doing or having something she really desires in order for her children to have everything that they need. I don't think we ever really appreciate our mothers until we become mothers ourselves. Of course, fur babies come pretty darn close because I do have dogs, and I smoosh on those dogs so much too. They bring the same feeling of motherhood to me. But just that feeling to love something so unconditionally, no matter how bad or good they're behaving, you just love them, and they're everything to you. As an adult, my mom is my best friend. my healer, my secret keeper, and my strength. I look back on my life when I've needed her the most as an adult, and there's been moments where I've had physical issues, where I'd be very concerned because I'd been trying to heal something in myself for a while, and when I finally hit the peak of fear, I'd call my mom and say, "Mom, I think something's very wrong with me." And I'd give her the symptoms of what was going on, and she'd always go, "Oh, that's not a big deal. Just do this," and give me a natural healing remedy because she was so sure it would work. And her assurance in my healing in my own body, it always worked. But I can only imagine how she actually felt when she hung up that phone, because I'm a mom too. And I do the same thing for my kids, even though it scares me so bad, you don't ever let them see you that you're freaked. And then you just pray that they're going to be okay. And I read this passage, and it reminded me of my mom, from Myrtle Fillmore's How to Let God Help You. These are the kind of words that she would say to me. God is the unfailing and abundant supply of everything that is needed for your spirit, soul, and body. God has not only created you, but is ever abiding in you as mind, life, wisdom, and substance. Remember, now there is nothing in that body but God's substance, God life, God intelligence, and God's love. There has been some failure in your thoughts, Syntysche. The life of God is in you and about you. Everything that is needed to make you comfortable, whole, strong, happy, and free is flowing into you and through you now, and will continue to heal you. The life of God is in you and about you. Everything that is needed to make you comfortable, whole, strong, happy, and free is flowing into you now. I always knew that this was my life substance, my healing ability was always in God, and that our belief system and knowing that we can heal something will heal us every time. But sometimes we need the support of somebody else believing in your own belief system to help you heal something. And I used this slide last week, but I just had to use it again because God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers. God could not be everywhere, therefore he made mothers. Before I go into this next piece, I just want to read this unknown poem that I got off the internet. It's beautiful, and it says it this way. Your mom is always with you. She's the whisper of the leaves as you walk down the street. She's the smell of certain foods you remember, flowers you pick, the fragrance of life itself. She's the cool hand on your brow when you are not feeling well. She's your breath in the air on a cold winter's day. She's the sound of the rain that lulls you to sleep, the colors of a rainbow. She is Christmas morning. Your mother lives inside your laughter. She's the place you came from, your first home, and she's the map you follow with every step you take. She's your love, your first friend, even your first enemy, but nothing on this earth can separate you. Not time, not space, and not even death. So I'm going to ask my mom to come out, and we're going to just sing a chant about connecting with our inner child. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And you might have sang it first service with us. I need to grab a Kleenex. Hold on a second. Return to your soul. Return to your heart of hearts, to your golden dream, to the child inside.
you'll be coming home. Home to where you first were born, where your roots belong, where you once belonged. God is everywhere. It's painted in eternity. It's who you really are, and where you'll always be. Return to your soul. Remember who you really are. Listen to your heart. Remember who you are. Return to your soul.
And so I had promised people to send in some stories about their moms, and we're going to share those now. So if we could just have a little bit of that. So people submitted stories about their mothers, and I'm going to ask my daughter to come out and my mom, and we're going to be reading people's letters to their moms, so we don't just talk about ourselves, but we'd like to hear about you too.
Alrighty. So this was a letter written from Joni about her mother. My mother was not motherly when I was little. She did the best she could having 5 kids, but my mother suffered many losses and worried incessantly. A wonderful thing happened during the last 6 years of her life. She lost her short-term memory and began to live only in the here and now. Instead of worry, she delighted in every meal, every cup of tea, every new day, and even delighted in me. Those last years were a time of healing grace for me. We were able to love each other without conditions.
And this is a letter from Cheryl Lotzer to her mom who has passed. My mom attended a Dale Carnegie seminar while she was in nursing school mid-1950s and used to pepper her pep talks with, remember kids, act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic. Or when we'd stumble downstairs for breakfast in middle school, she'd pretend to be a circus MC for the freak show. Another Dale C speaking technique at that time. She walks, she talks, she crawls on her belly like a reptile. It's Cheryl, the sleepy-eyed daughter. That's it. She was fun, and I miss her. And I have a love-hate relationship with the whole Mother's Day thing. Yeah, I type that kind of bitterly, well, maybe more sadly, or poignantly, or embracing my child freely status, or all of the above. Zillion breath virtual hug.
This is from Frances Coddington Kelly. My sweet mother, Farrar Cottingham, who was born in 1918, survived the 1918 pandemic and died when she was 97, would say, don't have a good day, make a good day.
This was written by Pat Follendorf. My mother, Aileen, was the middle child of a family of 8 kids growing up in southern Missouri during some very rough economic times. She and my dad married after he returned from his tour in Europe during World War II, and I was born almost to the date of their 1-year anniversary. They were so in love. I remember how she loved to sew not only my clothes, but also outfits for my bride dolls, which I cherished. She was a fabulous cook and took great interest in my school activities, as well as those of my 4 other siblings. Unfortunately, she passed on at age 59, but I have always been grateful that she was able to be with me when my daughter Lisa was born, her first grandchild. She was a loving and caring person, and I will always be thankful for everything she taught me. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
For my mom, Marilyn Matthews, I'm a lucky daughter. I hit the jackpot when it comes to moms. My mom didn't have it easy as a single mom, but she always made me feel safe and loved no matter what she was going through. She didn't hide all of her struggles from me either. Instead, she modeled strength and resilience and showed me that you can find your way through any difficulty. I'm most grateful to her for raising me with an unfaltering faith in God. She started me off in the Catholic Church where I discovered a deep love for the Christ. She brought me along on her spiritual path as she read about Edgar Cayce, reincarnation, and the daily word. We talk about everything as a possibility, and she never pushed me one way or the other. We prayed silently together so many times for family, for healing, and for miracles. I remember when I was 13, we moved from California to Connecticut with a U-Haul loaded beyond its suggested weight. While heading up a very steep hill in our Ford Fairmont, the U-Haul started getting the better of us. Our car slowed down while my mom's pedal was to the metal. She said, "Michelle, we need to pray quick." We prayed together and imagined getting a boost from God to get over that hill. Within minutes, the car shifted and we drove over the hill effortlessly. Mom, thank you for being an amazing Nana. Nana would be proud. Thank you for loving me unconditionally and for being my first guru. God bless you. Michelle. They're so good. All right, and we'll take an offering for unity now, and my beautiful daughter's gonna sing.
Well, thank you, Syntysche, for that beautiful Mother's Day talk and reminding me of some of the stories of our own mother, which is always fun. Well, mothers are known for their giving. That is my segue into this segment. This is our opportunity to give and to step into that motherly consciousness and energetic flow of giving and allowing things to give unconditionally, not just from us, but as us. So the universe is a flow that's trying to move in and through all things at all times, and when we don't give, we are blocking that flow. So right now is an opportunity to open that flow and move it in and through you out into the universe, as we are intended to do, to allow not just ourselves to be abundant, but all things and all people to be abundant. So we do have many ways to give here at Unity of Boulder. We have the text to give, we have the online donate button you can hit, and somewhere on your screen watching right now, there's a donate button if you want to join us in hitting that. We have the Easy Tithe app, which works very well. We have more and more people signing up for that app, so that's very good to see, and setting up recurring donations, which really helps us budget week to week and month to month to be able to keep this beautiful space running. All right, well, if you have your offering in your hand, or if you have it virtually in your mind or your consciousness, and you're ready to give it, no matter how it is, why don't we bless it with this offering statement, if you'll say it with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give.
So I'm going to be singing a song that I did not write, but I heard it for the first time when I was about 15, and it very scarily resembles my mom and I's relationship, down to really specific memories at specific ages, and I just feel like it's so special, and I've never sang this song for her, so I'm really excited to share this with her.
I'm 5 years old, it's getting cold out.
today. Love you so much, Mom.
Release and I let go. I let the
Spirit run my life.
and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. In the Spirit,
Let the Spirit run my life.
and my
My heart is open wide.
wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.